Hey everyone, welcome to the video. This one we're going with my cheat sheet for tomorrow's NASCAR race at Phoenix ISM Raceway, the Bluegreen Vacations 500. And before we continue, if you could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out. Really appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPinell16. And if you want the spreadsheet I build every single week for the NASCAR season, although I know it's pretty much over by now, I do projections, my cheat sheet, GP driver exposures, my target page, all that good stuff. Links will in the description below for my Patreon and my Slack chat. So anyway, let's get into this race, and before we get into the driver by driver thing, let's just talk about some race and track info here. So this is the Bluegreen Vacations 500 at Phoenix ISM Raceway. This is a flat tri-oval, or low banked. It's pretty flat. It's 1 mile in length, so it's a pretty short track. We got 312 laps, so decent amount of dominator points available at 234. And strategy and tips. It's not the most exciting race in the world, so we just want 1 to 2 dominators and your typical place differential guy, and then probably a cheap guy here and there. So nothing too special about this racetrack. Not going to be the most fun race to watch, but playoffs. So I guess it will be a little bit more fun than usual. So anyway, let's get into the driver by driver thing, and we're going to talk about pretty much everyone, but mostly the guys I just want to talk about. So Kyle Busch, he comes in as the most expensive driver, which usually he does. I believe last week he was not, but deservedly so this week. 11,900. He qualified on the pool, and it kind of makes things easy for us because I was looking at playing Kyle Busch no matter what this week and qualified on the pool, so it should be pretty easy for him to dominate. He's got a fast car. But let's just look how he performed here. I don't love going over practice numbers because I just don't love to. But so he has been dominant here the past 5 races, averaging 97 DraftKings points per race here, which is by far best out of all these drivers. The next guy up is Kevin Harvick, who's also dominant at Phoenix, but he's at 59. Kyle Busch is at 97, average driver rating of 129.5. He had a ceiling of 149.7, floor of 97, average finish of 2.8. 2.8, that is elite. And he has 2 wins here the past 5 races. He's in the top 5 80% of the time, top 10 100% of the time. Obviously, all these numbers are great. Average laps led per race here, 107 the past 5 races. Average fast laps of 50.4. He's won the past 2 races here. Average running position of 3.8. Kyle Busch, he's a fantastic play this week, and I'm probably going to have a ton of Kyle Busch. I might just go all the way in. Last week, I went with all-in Kevin Harvick. I never recommend going all-in, but I like to play a little bit aggressive in large field GPPs. So I just hit the lock button. I figured I'd be overweight on the field. I knew he'd be chalky, so I just double the exposure on everyone, locked him in. He did very good, so that worked out. I might just do that again with Kyle Busch. He's my number 1 play of the week. Wouldn't surprise me if he got over 100 DraftKings points here. He should be fine. So I do like Kyle Busch quite a bit. Kevin Harvick, though, he's also been very, very good at Phoenix. I scrolled way too far. So he's averaging 59 DraftKings points per race here, which is second best out of all drivers. Average driver rating of 111.2. Has the best floor driver rating of 99.9. Average finish of 5.2, which is second best. Average, 1 win in the past 5 races. Top 5 60% of the time. Top 10 100% of the time. And he also offers us a little bit of place differential too, which is what we're not going to get that with Kyle Busch. So if he falls backwards and doesn't dominate, yeah, he's going to be a trash play. But I have a hard time seeing him not dominate. And Kevin Harvick, though, he qualified 7th. He should move up. I wouldn't surprise me if he finished 2nd. Kyle Busch finishes 1st. But I think both of them will finish in the top 3. I'm not saying Kyle Busch is guaranteed to win this race. I just think he's going to dominate the race for the majority of it. And if he doesn't, if he leads half the race, I could see Kevin Harvick leading the other half of the race. He's just so good at Phoenix. He's averaging 22 laps led per race here, 21 fast laps. These numbers are a little bit low because Kyle Busch has been absolutely dominant, but he's a really good play here. Average running position of 6.8. So Kevin Harvick, he's my second favorite dominator of the play of the week. I don't know if you're going to be able to fit both these guys in. I've not tried to build a lineup yet. It's probably going to be pretty difficult, but if you can do it, I think you have a potential of the guys finishing 1-2 and maybe they both dominate half the race. And if so, and you nail your cheap guys, yeah, I guess that would work out. But it's going to be hard because they're both above 11K, and it's really hard to make lineups with 2 guys above 11K. But there's 312 laps, so let's say Kyle Busch gets, 100 or so. Kevin Harvick could get 80 or 100, and someone else maybe, dominates 30 or 40. That could be fine if they finish both in the top 3 or whatever, but I think they're both fantastic plays. If you want to go with the approach of just mixing your ownership between Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick, I understand that, but there's also some other strong plays too, so maybe you just want to spread it out. I personally want to be the heaviest on Kyle Busch, though, but Martin Truex Jr., he qualified 4th. He's 11,200. Again, very expensive, but I like him too. He's very good here. Average drive rating of 103, averaging 45 DraftKings points per race here. Average finish of 7. He's in the top 5 60% of the time. Average laps led 2, past 5 races. Average fast laps 14. Obviously, that's not great. Average running position of 8.4 though. He's on the outside looking in for me. He's not going to make my main lineup more than likely because I'm going to play Kyle Busch in that lineup, and then I'm probably not going to be able to spend up for another high-end guy. So I'm probably going to be looking in the 9K, 8K range for that. But Martin Truex Jr., I think he's a fine GPP play, but just know I much would rather play Kevin Harvick or Kyle Busch. But I think he's fine. It's Martin Truex Jr. He's been coming in the playoffs hot. He's been running very well, so I guess he'd make sense. Denny Hamlin, he qualified third. He's 10,600. He's decent here. He's not as great as like Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick, but it's nothing to bet your eye about. 48.5 DraftKings points per race here. Average drive rating of 104.1. Average finish of 13.4. He's in the top 5 40% of the time. Top 10 60% of the time. So the problem is he's right around Martin Truex Jr. He's right around Kevin Harvick. He's right around Kyle Busch. I mean, obviously he's good. He's been great the playoffs. He's been great this season, but I don't know. He is pretty good at flat tracks is the thing, low bank track, but I'm just so all the way in on Kyle Busch right now. I have a hard time seeing myself playing any Denny Hamlin. Maybe if you're playing 20 lineups, maybe you want to throw him a 1 or 2 in case he gets the lead early. I could see that happening. But again, he's more of just a get a little bit of exposure in large field GPPs. He would most likely not make my main lineup. I do have him listed as a dominator. So these are my 4 favorite dominators: Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Denny Hamlin, and more than likely in that order. So, and just know Kyle Busch is kind of on his own tier right now. Then Kevin Harvick's on his own tier, and then Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin are in their own tier together. So you get the 1A, 1B, and then the 2 right there. And then Chase Elliott, I always say I pick one guy out of this high-end range that I'm really not going to play. And that's actually been going pretty well. The one guy I've been saying I'm not playing, it was Kevin Harvick in Martinsville, I believe. And then last week it was Denny Hamlin, I think. And then Hamlin ended up crashing and didn't lead any laps. So maybe we stay high here. Or I think I said Chase Elliott a couple weeks ago. I don't know. Either way, it's been doing pretty good. So Chase Elliott, I don't see myself having too much of him. It's not like he's bad here or anything, but I can't play all these guys unless I'm building a whole bunch of lineups. And I'm assuming all of you guys aren't playing 150 lineups. So I'm not just going to tell you guys play every single play because that's probably not viable for you guys. So I'm personally probably wouldn't have any Chase Elliott if you guys are building 20 lineups. Averaging 48 DraftKings points per race here. I'm not saying he's bad here, but I got to pick one of these guys, and I just don't really see it happening with Chase Elliott this week, and he wasn't that great in practice either. Average finish of 10. He's in the top 5 40% of the time, top 10 40% of the time, top 15 80% of the time. It's just I don't see him dominating. He is averaging 31 laps led per race here, 29 fast laps, so it's not like he's bad or anything, but I just would rather play Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Truex, Denny Hamlin. So you see where I'm coming from. I'm not saying he's a bad play, but just personally, I probably won't have too much of him at all, or if any. All right, so Joey Logano, I'm probably not going to be playing Joey Logano. These numbers are skewed a little bit because of Rex, but they qualify second, 9,900. He's cheaper, but only averaging 13 DraftKings points per race here. Average finish of 21.8. And you can't just completely go by, you can't throw it out because of Rex, because Kyle Larson wrecked too, and he still has an average finish of 13.8. But, Joey's not been great at Phoenix. He's top 5, 0% of the time, top 10, 20% of the time, so that's once. Top 15, 40, top 20, 60. So, I mean, I don't really want to play Joey Logano this week. He's starting second. I can't see him getting around Kyle Busch. And even if he does, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick are all going to be coming in fast. So, I probably not going to want to play any Joey Logano this week. Kyle Larson, I have these 3 guys tagged as GPP plays because they're pretty decent at Phoenix. Ryan Blaney's numbers look a little bit worse because of some unfortunate circumstances, but again, we have to look past that a little bit. Kyle Larson, though, 40 DraftKings points per race here, average drive rating of 96.4. And as you can see, Joey Logano's drive rating is much lower than the rest of these guys in this tier, and he's starting second, so I really don't think there's much upside there. But Kyle Larson had a ceiling drive rating of 124.1. He's in the top 5 40% of the time. That's pretty good. And I know we had some problems one race, so with the 13.8 average finish, that's still pretty good considering his circumstances. He's in the top 10 60% of the time. I like Kyle Larson. Average running position of, of 12.2. So that's pretty good. Average 16 fast laps per race, averaging 14 laps led per race. Kyle Larson, I think he makes sense as a nice GPP play. Not someone I'm going out of my way to fit in, but if you want to get a little bit contrarian, I think Kyle Larson would make some sense. It's just he's in a tough spot because he's right around guys like the 4 guys I have tagged in green. It's going to be hard to beat those guys out, but he's cheaper. So if he gets up front, you're probably going to be sitting pretty because I don't think he's going to have too much ownership. Ryan Blaney, so he did lead some laps on the pool last time out. but I mean, he's fine here. It's not like he's terrible. He's averaging 19 DraftKings points per race here. Not the best. Average finish of 18.8. But he's also in the top 5 20% of the time, top 10 20% of the time, top 15 20%. It's not great, but he's got a fast car. His practice numbers were pretty good. So he's a GPP play only for me. Not someone I'm probably going to play in single entries because there's some risk there. But I think he's fine for GPP purposes, but not going to have too much of him, if any. Like, I might throw him in a couple, but I really don't see myself having too much Ryan Blaney. Brett Keselowski, he's pretty darn good at Phoenix. 45 DraftKings points per race here. Average driver rating of 94.6. Average finish of 11.4. He's in the top 5 40% of the time, top 10 40% of the time. Starting 12th, there's some place differential upside, and he could possibly get up front. He's not like a favorite for me to get up front, but I could see him getting a top 5. And I mean, he's done it 40% of the time the past 5 races, so that's twice. So I don't hate Brad Keselowski's chances. And it seems like when no one's on Brad Keselowski is when he has a good race. It's weird. It's just what happens, but I don't really see too many people being on Brad Keselowski this week. He's pretty cheap at 9,100, so I don't hate him. I think he's a fine play. And not in love with any of these guys really too much. I guess I should probably tag William Byron as a place differential play. I kind of just glossed over him, I guess. But Clint Bowyer, he's starting 13th, and he's okay here. It's just his average finish is 15.6. He's only in the top 10 20% of the time. Now he's in the top 15 80% of the time, but in 8,900, I want someone that has top 5, top 8 potential here, starting 13th, and I just don't really see it happening for Clint Bowyer here, so probably going to pass on him. Kurt Busch, average finish of 19 here. He's in the top 10 40% of the time, which isn't too bad. No top 5s. Starting 8th, not really in love with that at 8,700. Eric Jones, he qualified 9th. Average finish of 13.4, which isn't terrible. Top 10 60% of the time. That's pretty darn good. Top 5 20% of the time, averaging 33 DraftKings points per race here. Average driver rating of 85.7, which is best out of all drivers in this price range. So I think he's a GPP play. Not someone I'm in love with. Like, maybe throw him on a couple lineups and hope he gets a top 5, which he has done before, but not someone I'm going out of my way to put in my lineups. William Byron, I just tagged him as a place differential play because I actually meant to beforehand, but I didn't. But he qualified 18th, averaging 30 DraftKings points per race here. Average finish of 15. He's in the top 10 33% of the time, top 15 67% of the time. Chances are he's going to move up, and I don't mind him at all. Eric Almirola. So I haven't really played Eric Almirola for a long time. I actually think he made a couple of my lineup builds last week, but I might go on my way to put him in a couple lineups this week. He's very, very good at Phoenix. He's averaging 50 DraftKings points per race here, which is by far the best out of most of these drivers in these price ranges. It's actually the I think he's got the third best average DraftKings points per race here, only behind Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. So that's pretty darn good for Eric Almirola. Average finish of 8.2. That's very, very good. I believe that's only right behind Martin Truex Jr. So I believe he's 4th in that category, which is also pretty incredible. He's in the top 5 40% of the time, top 10 80% of the time. Yeah, I think he's a pretty good play. I think he can top 10 here. I mean, he's been doing it 4 out of the past 5 races. There's a chance he gets in the top 5, so I don't mind him. Nice average finish here, starting 11th. He's pretty cheap though, and I think he can at least stay where he's starting, and I think he has upside of moving up. He's been very good at Phoenix, so I don't mind him. Jimmy Johnson, he's an okay play for me. I don't love him, but he qualified 22nd. He should be able to move up. He was having a really, really good race last week until he got hit and got damaged, and it sucked from there. But he was looking really, really good. So I think I had 35% Jimmy Johnson. I was feeling really good about that, and then some bad things happened, but yeah, it's whatever. But average finish of 17, top 10 40% of the time, top 15 80% of the time. He's going to move up, 7,900, qualified 22nd. I don't mind him at all. Alex Bowman, I will pass on Alex Bowman. He has not been very good at Phoenix. Average finish of 26, top 10 none, top 15 33% of the time. I mean, that's fine, but he's qualified 14th. Don't love Alex Bowman. Ryan Newman, he's probably one of the better plays of the week. He is 7,600. He qualified 20th, averaging 47 DraftKings points per race here. Average drive rating of 86.2. Average finish of 11. He does have a win here. I believe I played him when he got that win too. It was off of some strategy, and it ended up working out. I believe I played him, but he's in the top 5 20% of the time, top 10 20% of the time. But no, it's because he won. But the majority of the time, he is in the top 15 80% of the time. So Ryan Newman, he should be able to move up. He's pretty good at Phoenix, so I don't mind him. Paul Menard, I will pass, qualifying 19th. Matt DiBenedetto, so his numbers don't look fantastic, but you have to remember he's in new equipment this year, And his car was very, very fast. He had some really good long run speed this week. He was pretty good in the 10 lap average, so I like that. And qualified 16th, 7,300. The problem is I don't really see him moving up too much, but he is fast this week, so I don't mind him at 7,300. He's pretty cheap, and I think he's an okay play. I don't love it, but he's obviously not been great here whatsoever. But I think he's just worth a. I'm not gonna go too heavy on him, but I think he's worth a shot in a couple of my lineups. Daniel Suarez, he's 7,200, average finish of 18.4, top 10 40% time, which isn't too bad. I'm actually gonna give him a place differential tag. I was debating on it before this video, but I think he's fine. I think he's okay at 7,200. Chris Buescher, not good at Phoenix at all. Qualified 17th, average DraftKings points per race here of 20, average finish of 25.4. Probably going to pass on Chris Buescher this week. Austin Dillon, you guys know I don't like Austin Dillon, but unfortunately, he's in play again. He qualified 28th, average DraftKings points per race here of 30, average finish of 15.6. He's in the top 10 20% of the time, top 15 40% of the time. As for the top 20, he's in it 80% of the time, so he's going to move up. Qualified 28th. He's probably going to be pretty popular at 6,800, and he's in play, unfortunately, because I don't like him, but I'll play him this week for sure. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., qualified 24th. He's in play as well. I hate both of these guys, and unfortunately, they're both in play, so it's probably not going to be a good week for me because they always like to screw me. Qualified 24th, average finish of 16.2, averaging 31 DraftKings points per race here. He's in the top 5 20% of the time, top 10 40, top 15 60. He's a pretty good play this week. I do like Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Preece. One race sample size, obviously wasn't great, but qualified 25th. I don't hate him, but not a core play for me. Ty Dillon, I think he's a pretty darn good play. He qualified 29th, 6,200. He's going to be pretty popular. Ty Dillon always seems to be popular when he starts near the back, which he is, 29th. Average finish of 18.2. He's in the top 15, 40% of the time. Top 20, 80% of the time. Ty Dillon's a pretty good play this week. Hemrick only has one race here, so you can't really go off the sample size, but he did finish 18th. And starting 27th, I don't hate that either. Michael McDowell qualified a little bit too high for me. Corey LaJoie, he's fine. I guess I could give him a tag. I don't love him though, but I'll give him a cheap tag. But numbers aren't going to impress you whatsoever. Right? He might be able to move up a couple spots. Bubba Wallace, he's been pretty good here. 5,700, qualified 23rd, average finish of 20 here. He did get a top 10, 33% of the time. He got a top 10, averaging 30 DraftKings points per race here. I don't hate him. He's not the greatest player in the world starting 23rd, but I think he should be fine, and he's been racing well, so don't mind Bubba Wallace. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. If it was helpful, remember to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Really appreciate it. Now, first, I'll give you my favorite plays from each one. So, Kyle Busch, my favorite dominator. Favorite place differential play. I like Austin Dillon. I like Ryan Newman a lot. And then Almirola is pretty good too, but I guess he's not really a place differential play. Should I give him a GPP tag? I feel like I should give Almirola the GPP tag because I guess he's technically not a place differential play. So, favorite dominator, Kyle Busch. Favorite place differential guy, Ryan Newman, Austin Dillon, Stenhouse, those kind of guys. And then I like Ty Dillon a lot down here, so I'll give you guys that. Anyway, guys, I'll leave you with that. Wish you guys the best of luck. Enjoy football tomorrow. Enjoy the race. Enjoy NBA if you're playing that tonight. Enjoy everything. See you guys in the next video. Good luck.